You just heard Sacramento by LaFonce New. This is IOTA, the one and only radio station for Iota Springs, Illinois, where just an iota of love makes all the difference. You're family when you're here. Thanks for listening.
Is this thing on? Sir, is this thing on? It is? Okay. I didn't want to mess up my first time on the radio. Well, hey Iota listeners, how are you doing? My name is Tracy, and I'm here with my good friend Karen, fundraising manager of the PTA, and we are just so excited to talk to you all about the Iota Craft Show and Farmers Market coming up next week.
That's right. All of your favorite local farmers will be there, and we are so lucky to be able to feature some lovely local artisans as well. Tracy, what will you be selling at the craft fair?
My business, Tracy's Teacups, will be at the end of the produce section. We sell handmade teacups, and each one comes with a matching saucer. Our patterns are so unique, and no two cups are the same.
And I will be there with my daughter with our bakery, Tasty Treats. We will be bringing some awesome loaves and cookies that you do not want to miss out on.
That's right. They go perfect with tea, might I add. All right, let's see. We brought a list of the other vendors who will be there, including Brenda's Baked Goods, who wants you to know that her pie cannot be beat.
Well, I wouldn't say they can't be beat. You know, Tasty Treats did beat Brenda's Baked Goods in the local bake-off last year, so I would recommend to you all that you stick with the award-winning baker. Now, since you were so kind to mention Brenda, Tracy, let me take the next mini ad. Oh yes, Megan's Mugs will be coming to the fair and is partnering with the coffee shop for free beans with every purchase.
Well, you know, Megan and her mugs are delightful. But how big even is coffee these days? What's in right now, from what I've heard, is tea. And nothing feels better than drinking tea from a beautiful cup. A cup that you know has a place to rest because there is a matching saucer. If you want the best drinkware in town, you can find me at the end of the produce section.
Now, I don't want you all to think that this craft show is going to be some big competition. And to prove it, Catherine's Candle Works will also be at the craft show. Her candles are just lovely, and I personally have 4 in my living room alone.
Yes, I love her Oceanside Breeze scent, and her gift baskets are a bargain at any rate. But I mean, who knows? Maybe you're not in the mood to buy something that smells so good you don't want to burn it. Maybe you want a practical item that you can use every day to, well, drink a hot cup of tea with, maybe.
So true. And a single candle can't be shared with the entire family, but a lemon loaf can.
Regardless of what you buy, we would love to see you all come out next week to help support our local businesses.
But as a special treat, if you drop the phrase Laura Linney while at either of our booths, you can have a special radio discount.
Carrot! Anyway, thank you to Iota for letting us pop on here, and we can't wait to see you next week.
Well, once again, it's the top of the hour, and you know what that means. It's time for the Town Bulletin, your number one source for the goings-on in Iota Springs. If you have an announcement you'd like read on the Town Bulletin, you can email bulletin@iotaradio.com. I apologize for the typo on the IOTA website that read harlequin@iotaradio.com. I was using my talk-to-text feature, and it must have misheard me. Let's get started. Police are on the hunt for a man seen running around town, paper toweling trees. Cashiers have been alerted to ID anyone purchasing brawny Terra Square paper towels. Any tips can be called in to the Iota Springs Police Department helpline at 1-888-924-8924. The the Springwater Elementary School 5th graders will be holding their annual water balloon reenactment of the Battle of the Alamo on April 14th at the football field. They are still looking for parent volunteers to help construct the foam Alamo. Reach out to Principal Davis to sign up to help. Lindsay Sullivan is reporting yet another case of clothes in her yard. She found an I Got My Kicks on Route 66 novelty tee, a pair of bright yellow pants, and a mismatched pair of flip-flops on her front walk. She would like whoever is leaving clothes in her yard to know she's starting to feel unsettled. They rock, they roll, they watch Paw Patrol? The Rec Center Lil Rockers are accepting registrations for their spring session. Immerse your child in the world of power ballads as Aerosmith cover band The Missing Things frontman teaches the future generation of music icons to belt out their feelings and how to properly headbang. Hold on a second, folks. We've got a call coming into the station. Iota, you're on the air.
Thanks. I'm calling in to reach Rebecca. Rebecca,
Wait a second. Oh, are you Daniel?
I am, or at least I think I am. I don't know who I am anymore without Rebecca.
Well, I've been reading your messages on the air every week. If that's not helping, I think you're going to have to give this one up and start to move on.
I can't move on. Would you just tell the people trying to tear down the Berlin Wall to just get over it and move on? Mr. Gorbachev, I want my girlfriend back.
Well, I'm sorry, but I'm afraid that's all the time we have for today. Good luck, Daniel. And as always, tune back in tomorrow to stay informed and stay local.
Hello, Iota Springs, and welcome to Gary's Greatest Community Problems, where we review county complaints and issues with me, Gary Terrence, County Executive. I'm here to hear your needs. Classic. Pure gold. Today is Thursday, February 14th, 2019. The time is 2:03 p.m., and the weather is windy, blustery, angry even. Mother Nature must be hangry. I saw a tumbleweed, yes, a tumbleweed listener, on my way to the station this morning. Or at least, I think it was a tumbleweed. It was more of a blur, and it was the same color as those brown plastic bags from the auto store, and a newspaper blew in my face. I guess you could say the day flew past me, because the news, right, either way, it is extremely windy, as local advisors have advised all local citizens to stay indoors. Non-local citizens, you have the full range of our town if you so desire. Today, we have an update on the local news and newspaper crisis, and I will give a review on a student's poetry book from Babbling Brook Middle School. We will also follow update on the weather and any damage that results from it as they appear. As you may know, our local news station, the Morning Springs, and their paper, the Iota Springs Local Times, is struggling due to budget cuts the entire county is facing. They say there's no news to be reported, but honestly, I just think they're lazy. My show is built upon the local buzz, as the kids say. And as I always say, there's no buzz without bumblebees. So something has to... Oh, listeners, this just in. The high winds warnings has just become a tornado watch. A tree branch has fallen on the White Castle picnic tables. Mr. Thomas Thompson took a tumble after being blown away while trying to put a tarp on his car, and Susie Adkins' chicken, Isabella, has been reported missing. Listeners, this is getting quite serious. I went vegan for her. Well, for 1 hour. She was kind of mean, a real goose, if you will. If anyone sees Isabella, please return to 1542 West Wayward Avenue. Moving on, the newspaper is asking for volunteers, particularly high school students, to come work and share any local news you have with the Iota Springs Local Times. Journalism students, your time has come. As for our review, Alexis Smith has written a beautiful short collection of poetry titled Longings for the Sea. It follows the meanings of life through what she imagines the ocean would be like. Listeners, is not that shell-shocking? She submitted a piece to the County Poetry Board for publication and has been nominated to this year's County Poet Laureate. I hope her competition is not salty. Wait, this just in, a small tornado has touched down in Bushwick County. If you're hearing the tornado sirens, please take your radio and go to your basement. Although a small tornado, it has reportedly toppled down power lines and telephone wires to the north, caused major damage to roofs in the area, and also destroyed the Johnson's family grain silo. Isabella is still... I'm sorry, listeners. Isabella the chicken is no longer with us. She has been crushed by the reported fallen grain silo. Emergency responders declared her dead at the scene. My condolences to Susie and her family. Please donate any spare casseroles to the family. They need it now more than ever. As for the tornado, wind spreads have dramatically dropped. Please tune in to the weather station to follow further updates on the weather. Until next week, this is Gary, signing off.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Wilderness Wilma and my daughter Nessie.
I prefer Vanessa.
Baby, what did we talk about for the show? Please.
Mom, it's embarrassing. Fine. And I'm Nessie.
I nicknamed my daughter after the Loch Ness Monster, y'all. Anywho, this is Cryptid Corner on Iota Springs Radio.
Today we are here to recap our weekend trek into the woods to track down that legendary Iota eyewaggler. On this trip, we made a lot of great progress in our quest to find the cryptid.
That's right. We found some hard evidence of the waggler's existence this time around, and we can't wait to share it with you all today.
But first, for those first-time listeners out there, we thought we'd talk a little bit about the beast in question, in case the Iota eyewaggler hasn't quite crossed your path yet.
The Iota eyewaggler is one of America's most elusive cryptids, and in my opinion should be the eighth wonder of the world. This beast has eyes for wings and wings for eyes. Its nose is broken in 6 different places, and he's bipedal, with scales for fur and fur for scales. The scales reflect a color only deep sea shrimp and some babies can see.
It's been 75 years since it was first spotted by L. Murray Fudd in the Haverchuck Forest. It's been seen by at least 6 other people since, but it's never been photographed. Despite various attempts at snapping a pic, the negatives have always come out blank, so most citizens of Iota Springs still doubt its existence.
But my daughter and myself are now the 2 newest additions to the list of eyewitnesses. That's right, folks, we saw the beast with our own 4 eyes.
I only saw one of the wings, but I didn't see what part of the body it was attached to. It seemed feathery, which isn't something my mom has told me about the waggler before, so that was kind of surprising. The whole eyes for wings thing and all, I didn't know eyes could be feathery. They didn't seem very much like eyes at all.
Well, life's full of surprises. What else did you see, sweetheart?
Well, the rest was sort of a shadow. It was smaller than I thought it would be, too. Like, its head was round, kind of like normal. And I thought I saw its eyes, like normal eyes, in the right spot. And not long after, I heard it hoot, like an owl.
Well, that's not what I saw. I know what I saw, and I saw the waggler. Wings for eyes.
You know what, Mom? I think this is bull. It was fun for a while, but I'm starting to think you've been wrong about all these things.
Nessie, what?
And that too, Mom. I don't like being called Nessie. It's embarrassing. And I think I've been embarrassing myself, sticking up for you and these cryptids all these years, but it's too much. I can't do it anymore. This is your dream, not mine.
But honey, you loved Cryptid Camp. You were smiling ear to ear when you got back.
Because you were so proud of me. And I was happy to make you proud, but in the 45 seconds since realizing that my whole life has been a sham, I've become a new person. I have a new dream now, Mom. And let all of Iota Springs be my witness. I am going to become a tax preparer, and there is nothing you can do to stop me.
This has been Cryptid Corner with Wilma and Vanessa.
Good evening, Iota Springs sports fans. This is your play-by-play commentator, Joe Pucci, coming to you after a heated half of football here at the High School Sugar Bowl, a clash between Iota High and Bushwick High.
Clash is one way to put it, Joe. This game is a real stinker. Embarrassing.
And that voice you just heard is my color commentator, Mark Makowitz. But tonight, he seems to be filling the role of Iota Sports Radio's resident Grumpy Gus.
Bushwick High is currently up at the half with a decisive lead of 63 points. Yeah, I see a bunch of players out there in Iota High jerseys, but my eyes must be deceiving me because this sure feels like the Puppy Bowl. What a waste of my time.
Oh, come on, Mark. Let's be professional. These are kids.
More like babies.
Enough of that. All right, Iota High is lining up the kicking team for the second half. And here comes Bushwick with the return. Directly into the end zone. With an 86-yard return, Bushwick High has just further extended their lead 69-0.
Jesus Christ.
Now, what do you think happened there, Mark?
Well, judging by the stupid looks on the Iota High players' faces, I'd say their parents dropped the ball when they gave birth to them.
Mark.
Joe, look me square in the eye and tell me these kids don't deserve to be put down.
Mark, this is unacceptable. Never in my 5 months of sports radio commentating have I heard vitriol like this. What's your deal tonight?
Listen, I don't want to talk about this now. Let's get back to the game.
Come on, buddy. You can tell me anything.
Fine. Okay, I guess I've just felt, uninspired recently.
Uninspired, huh? What do you mean by that?
Well, you know I paint as a hobby. I've always found it to be such an inventive and therapeutic outlet, but recently I just haven't...
And a beautiful interception in return by Bushwick High's number 56, making the score 76-0. Sorry, Mark. Go right ahead.
Oh, yeah, no worries. You know, the paint just hasn't been speaking to me recently.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be this town. You know, it just makes me feel like such a pedestrian. I meander aimlessly like a cow in pasture with no inspiration. Maybe I just need a change of scenery.
Mark, I hate to break it to you, but the grass on the other side is always going to seem greener. At a certain point, we as humans, and Iota High's quarterback gets pummeled for a loss of 15 yards, have to start making our own meaning. Instead of hoping that some grand purpose falls in our laps, we got to look around ourselves and be truly grateful for what's set before us. At that point, even the most mundane becomes spectacular.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
Look, Mark, at some point this week, I want you to go for a walk in the woods and just breathe it all in. Just listen, get your face real close to a tree, absorb all that. Boom! A murderous spear tackle by Bushwick High's linebacker. Beauty. And just try to tell me that the paint doesn't speak to you then.
Thanks, Joe. You know, I think I'll do just that. And you know what? It's these little connections. It's these moments of palpable empathy that remind me, and Iota High's running back gets mowed down in their own end zone for the third safety of the night. Why I live in this town in the first place. I love you, buddy.
I love you too. And with that, the clock has run out and the massacre is over. With a final score of 97-0, I can't imagine Iota High is feeling very good about this one.
You got that right, Joe. A truly revolting display of athleticism tonight.
Tune in next week for the High School Spice Bowl, where these two teams are going to face off in a rematch. For Iota Sports Radio, I'm Joe Pucci.
And I'm Mark Makowitz.
Good night and sleep well, Iota Springs.
Unless you're a football fan.
Thanks for listening to IOTA. Tune in next time for next week's Town Bulletin, an interview with philosopher Dwayne Hoover where he will talk about his ongoing vow of silence, and a recap of our annual child beauty pageant, Franklin's Little Beauties. Now, back to our regularly scheduled musical programming with Underwater Sun by the Bird Brains.